Hello, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to this online webinar on short fiction and ad filmmaking. I hope I'm audible. I'm well audible to all of you guys. Thank you so much for joining and participating. I really appreciate each of you all joining and participating. Right. So, Shift Focus, as you already know, is a school for cinema and life. We're a school with a difference. Our aim is to leave the participants with more than knowledge and know-how. Passionate as we are about cinema, we would like to leave participants at the end of our courses equally passionate about living a life that they enjoy, riding both the high and low waves of life that are inevitable. Well, I'd like to quickly introduce you to Aruna Raje Patil, who is one of the founders of our school. Arunaji is a filmmaker, writer, director, editor, producer. I can go on and on. Arunaji has won 5 national film awards, and some of her feature films include Gehrai, Rihai, and recently Firebrand, which was released in 2019 on Netflix. Arunaji, a warm welcome, and could you please tell us a bit more about the school?
Thank you. Hi, everyone, and welcome again. We're very happy to see you this evening. And, that one thing that's common, I think all of us here, is our passion for cinema. And we are committed that, you actually get to express your passion. Now, I know, I was a lucky one who went to FTII many, many years ago. And I was really lucky that I got to work in cinema and express myself the way I wanted to. And I know for any cinema person who wants to be in cinema, make films, is the ultimate is to can I get into FTII? Well, there are so many thousands of applications that come in, and I've been part of the selection often, and it's not easy to get into FTI because there are only, very few seats. But the thing is, you can't give up your dream, can you? No. So the thing is to actually learn. Now, there are a lot of short courses. There are courses and courses and courses. Now, you have to be able to select where will you get the kind of value that you want to get. And one thing is, and we started Shift Focus. Why did we start Shift Focus? There were lots of courses already there. There were a lot of all kinds of film schools already there. So why did we have to do one more? We realized that, there's so much material available on the net. If you want to self-learn this stuff. But what's important is having a kind of mentor who will guide you through, how to actually do things or how to be, how do you make films, how you have to work with a whole lot of people, how do you navigate through the, process, how do you make yourself seen, heard, expressing yourself in the industry. So this is something we decided to do. And we said, no matter, short courses, little bit at a time, and you can still equip yourself to express yourself in cinema. So that was one of the things. And I'll share with you what we believe, what our philosophy is in a bit. And I'll have Shruti go through the parts of the website that are critical. And when we come to who we are, I'll share a little bit about you and the education. And this evening is a great opportunity for you because Aditya is here with us. See, we have two very critical people. Saji, who's my partner, and he's an entrepreneur, he's a business person, and he's a soul. He was after me for so many years. Let's start this. And I was like, abhi ye age mein kaun chalu kare, rehne do. But then I also believe in actually giving it away, and that's why out of this belief we said, all right, we'll start small, but we'll expand. But we want to serve, we want to take care of you guys who are here. So that was the whole intention. And we've got Aditya with us, who's been in the industry, he's done a lot of work, and I think you'll listen to his spellbound when he starts telling you a little bit more about stuff. So that's what we're looking forward to.
All right, brilliant. So,
okay,
Aruna might tell us a bit more about how life and cinema is so closely connected, and the school's approach to film education is also holistic.
Yeah, so let me tell you a little bit about, we are coming from, after the Second World War, people thought there'll never be a war again. There was so much strife, and even families have become so dysfunctional in today's times. So UNESCO created something called the 4 pillars of education for the 21st century. And most of our education works on the 2 pillars of learning to and learning to do. So what is learning to know is amassing knowledge. And everyone wants to do that. Anyone needs to do that. Learning to do is having your various skills. You need to have your life skills and vocational skills and professional skills. That's learning to do. But the thing is, learning to live together is the third pillar. And that's very important, because if you can't have peace of mind, if you can't live with people, if you can't work with people, because film is a collaborative medium, and if you can't live with family, you can't live with the people you work with, how are you going to be able to get past? And the last one is learning to be, that's why she said holistic, being complete, whole, and able to create at the best of your ability. So we also, that's why the mentorship comes in 3 and 4. Mostly, as we said, and I'm going to read that again to you again, what our intention is, why we are doing this, is because material is available. There's lots of stuff on the net, but mentoring is what's critical in this film, and the quality level, a very high quality of teaching. That's what we believe in. Yes, Shruti, if you take us to the next, and then I'll come back again.
Sure. So I'll talk about so we've already launched 7 courses. The 2 ongoing courses are the basics of screenwriting, which Aruna ji herself is leading. And we're also having the Studying the Masters course that is ongoing right now by Mr. Kuntal Bogilal. In November, we have 5 more courses. Of course, the short fiction and ad filmmaking, which is starting on the 18th of November. And soon after, we have the acting course, a course on dance for actors, a course on still photography, and pranayama and yoga. I am not getting into the details of the courses because today we are here for Aditya sir's webinar on short fiction and ad filmmaking. From what Aruna ji has already shared, you guys know that we do believe in the quality of teaching that would make the biggest difference. So we have very experienced and well-established people from the industry who are going to be conducting all of these courses. Very soon, we are going to open membership to our film club. In terms of how the film club is going to function, we're going to meet virtually, that is digitally, once every week, watch a movie and discuss it. So do look out for the details on the website as to when the memberships are going to open. And there's also something called as a picture gallery and a video gallery. So we'll be constantly updating this with what the school is up to, and for you to watch and listen to content on cinema. Watch our YouTube videos. And yeah, here's the website. So I like I said, I've just quickly taken you through the very important bits that I wanted to share with you about our school. If you want to know more and read more, do head on to www.theShifFocus.com. Aruna ji, do you want to talk about the vision mission as well, or should
I? Yes, I'd like to do that. I'd like to do that. If you can get to that page. We had a page there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So, like what we are saying is who we are is a school with a difference. Our aim is to leave the participants with more than just knowledge and know-how. Passionate as we are about cinema, we'd like to leave the participants at the end of our courses equally passionate about living a life they love, or living the life they enjoy, riding the high and low waves which are inevitable in life. There is no dearth of information, as I said, but the point is the biggest difference would be the quality of teaching which we want to make available to you, so that you are fully expressed in your expression of cinema, and also like lives well lived. Now, our vision statement is we are thriving in contributing ideas, philosophies, stories, and cinematic expression that transform people, that cultures entire world with creative wisdom and passion. Now, the mission statement, a school committed to the highest quality of teaching, creating accesses for every kind of person. Now, everybody has a view of themselves, oh, I'm like this, I'm this type, I'm that type. No, whichever type of person you are, what we are interested in is you discovering your unique self-expression through the medium of cinema, and communicate with confidence to the world inside of an extraordinary life. I mean, it's so what? I know many of you may have tried to get into FTII, will also be trying in the future. If it happens, great. If it doesn't, don't worry. You can still do what you want. You can still create cinema. So that's what I want to leave you with. We are there for you to find your unique self-expression and create the cinema that you want to create. And that's our mission, really. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much. Without much ado, I would now like to introduce Mr. Aditya Seth, who is a filmmaker as well as an academic consultant. Sir's documentary called Bahadur, The Accidental Brave won the Best Documentary Award at the Dada Saheb Phalke Film Festival. Sir is also an academic consultant for the University of South Wales, UK. A lot of you might already know that Sir is the president of the Indian Documentary Producers Association. And he's also on quite a few juries. I'll leave you to read that. Aditya sir, I'm so thrilled to welcome you to today's webinar. Over to you, sir. We're all looking forward to this session with you.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you so much for joining in to hear me speak. This is the first webinar that we're doing with this focus. And the idea behind this is not necessarily to tell you what the course is about, rather tell you what the essence of the course is. This is an idea of what I will be doing over the 3 months, which will be starting on the 18th of November, and which will be going on till about the 3rd week of February. The basic idea was that since storytelling is common to all types of cinema, all genres, all applications of cinema, but the two places where they actually come very close together, one is advertising and one is fiction. The difference being in advertising, we eventually turn the story into a plug or a placement for a product or a service. Whereas in a fiction story, the protagonist has to reach the culmination of his or her journey, and it is not necessary to be selling a product or a service. It is more to entertain you with the dramatic narrative, and it is more to keep you engaged with ideas and to keep you engaged with whatever happens in the story, with the ups and downs and the twists of the plot. Now, let me start with advertising. I believe, and I've been saying this for a while, advertising is the mother of all media. If you take advertising away, there'll be nothing. There'll be no newspapers, there'll be no radio, there'll be no television, there'll be no OTTs, there'll be no internet. There'll be nothing. Who's going to sponsor the mediums? How are you going to engage with any kind of communication? There has to be somebody who has to put in the money, put that platform up, and for you to be able to view or listen or read or engage with or interact with a message, a communication. The communication can be entertainment, the communication can be education, can be entertainment, can be propaganda, can be just about anything, but a communication, an idea. So we're in the business of selling ideas. Those ideas can eventually lead to selling just about anything. We are basically in the business of selling ideas. Now, when we come to advertising, why am I trying to first, I want to speak first about advertising, and then I'll take you through a little bit of promotion, and we'll eventually go to fiction. The reason that I am trying to explain advertising to you is because in today's market-driven industry, every industry today is market-driven. Everything is market-driven. Without money, there's nothing, honey. It's all about money, right? So everybody's trying to sell something to make you lose on your purse strings and make you buy things that you don't necessarily need. We're all the time trying to make you invest either your time or your money or your effort in an idea to make you spend. You have to spend. That's what advertising is all about. Advertising is trying to constantly make you or force you or influence you to make the informed choice to go and buy a product or a service which will make your life better, which is more aspirational, where you'll feel that your life has really improved, everything has become so sexy, and the living conditions are awesome, and you've arrived, right? Medi sari usi sari se safed kaise? Super inki chamkar zyada safed, super inki chamkar comes, your sari becomes whiter than the whitest, and you feel, aha, nobody can be whiter than me, right? So you feel good. It's a feel-good feeling. You feel excited, you feel good, and you feel that this product is going to change my life. I'm going to get the look that will please me and will please everybody, and I will outshine just about everybody. This also comes with our obsession with fairness in this country. We're obsessed with fairness. We're obsessed with people who are fair rather than people who are dark. Unfortunately, we are constantly promoting the fair look, Fair and Lovely, right? I'm glad Fair and Lovely is one off the shelves finally. And all Fair and Lovely really did was sell you bleach and expecting you to believe that you're going to turn fairer. If you really don't turn fairer, it's a waste of money. So that's the whole point. So that's what advertising is always constantly trying to do, make you buy things you don't need. But till it isn't there, you won't have anything at all to view or to engage with or to get entertained by. Now, the best way to understand what advertising really does, I believe, is through detergent commercials. Detergent, Ariel, Surf, Fina, Nirma, Vanish, XYZ. I think that detergent commercials are the best way to understand what an ad film really does and how it influences you, how it makes you want to think that this product is aspirational and how it will, change your life and suddenly everything will be fine. Usually, the way we break up a 30-second TVC being television commercial, is usually we set up the ambience, we establish the characters, we establish the setting of the characters in the first 7 seconds. In the first 7 seconds, you know exactly what the scenario is, who are the characters, where are they placed, and from the 8th second, the degree of difficulty comes in. That what is the main protagonist up against? In a detergent commercial, she is usually up against a bad, substandard product which is not washing her clothes, or which is not helping a husband, for instance. I think that there was a very famous campaign where because of the way she washes the guy's clothes, he gets a promotion in office, right? So it's always the typical housewife who is doing it for the husband, and the husband is going out and he's getting successful, right? So by the 8th second, the degree of difficulty comes in. The problem with the product comes in, and that's when, for the first time, you see the branding of the product that is to be promoted. It may come in as a color code. It may come in as just as a subliminal message, but it's always there. And then the moment this woman switches to looking at the other product, there'll be a demo section of how her life has become easier. There'll be a lot of foam. The clothes will look cleaner. They'll be washed really well. And at the end of it, she'll be like, say aha, kind of thing, right? Like she's cracked it. She's cracked it. Life is easier. The clothes look awesome. And she's arrived. And the husband comes and gives her this warm hug or pat on the back. And like, that's it. Her day is made. And as her day is made, the aspiration for the other housewife sitting at home is, wow, I need this product. My day will also be. So you are creating an aspiration in the minds of the audience to want to invest in something which they don't necessarily need, or which may not be qualitatively so much better than what they already have. But the story makes you want to believe in the credibility of a product, in the credibility of a brand, and entices you and challenges you to try it, to invest in it. And the moment you invest in it, you automatically, psychologically feel that you have a better product. Whether the product is better or not is a different issue altogether. But you automatically are made to believe that, look, this is it. This is what I want, right? This is it, right? I mean, let's take the example of iPhones, for instance. We've seen people standing for miles, 5 miles, just waiting for the store to open and to go and buy the new iPhone. Does buying the new iPhone necessarily change your life? No. I think that buying the new iPhone certainly burns a hole in your pocket, right? It may do anything else, but it's a whole lot of money. You can buy 10 phones for that same amount of money, is what I believe. But it's aspirational, it's sexy, it's a lifestyle good, and the moment you have it, you feel you've arrived. So the whole point is to make it's a feel-good factor, to make you feel that you achieved something, and to make you feel that if I have this in my life is going to change forever. That's what advertising fundamentally does. So similarly, if you just push this a bit, I'd like to show you one film. Can the first clip be played, please? This is a film I'd made for a US client. This is a web-based film, so it's slightly longer than 30 seconds. It's 47 seconds. It's an animated commercial.
Hi, I'm Lily, and I'm off for my piano lessons. It may seem a little late to you for little girls like me to be out cycling alone. Mom and Dad are not worried because they know exactly where I am, whether I'm in school or chatting on the move. But it wasn't always like this. Mom used to call me every 5 minutes to check on me. InZone keeps them informed of every location I visit automatically. InZone gives my mom, dad, and me peace of mind.
Right. So this basically is a film about a security app, right? There's an app which is downloaded into your smartphone where the parents know exactly where the child is. So they can keep track of wherever the child is going. So the story here is through this little girl who's going for a piano lesson. She's cycling. She would normally probably take 30 seconds, but today she takes 47 seconds or 45 seconds because she sees a kitten on the way and she stops the cycle and she starts playing with her. So unlike otherwise, and we as parents get very anxious about our children, because the children don't really care about the parents' anxiety. So this is one way where the parent knows where the child is, irrespective of whether the child is informing the parent or not. So she knows exactly that this is the amount of time she takes to reach her piano class. Why is she taking longer? So when she sees and she pings her, she immediately texts her back saying that this is the reason I've stopped and I'm on my way. So the anxiety is allayed. She feels relieved. There is no unnecessary calling or there is no unnecessary pressure mounting as far as the parent is concerned. And the parent knows very well where the child is. So the degree of difficulty is met and the degree of difficulty is circumvented or surmounted. And the child reaches the piano class and both mother and child are happy at the end of the day because of this one intervention. So this is how most commercials go. The product intervenes to make your life better. The product is what is the catalyst for solving your problem. It could be even a service, right? If you remember the Vodafone pug, right? When the pug used to come in the commercial, you did not even need to be reminded about the service. Let's not go into how good or how bad Vodafone is. That's a different issue altogether. But just the pug, just that pug became such an icon and such a symbol of the service that Vodafone was providing that the moment we'd see the pug, we knew it was all about Vodafone. So it's really all about creating brand association, what we call brand association, what we call recall in your mind that the moment you see this, one of the best lines I've heard written by the great writer Kamlesh Pandey when he was an advertising writer was, whenever you see color, think of us, Jensen and Nicholson. You may not remember the line when you see color, but you definitely remember the line when you go to buy paint. Right? So it's basically making you want to believe in the promise of a product by selling your brand to make sure that when you go to buy that product category, you will buy that particular product, which is playing in the back of your mind, thanks to a commercial, thanks to narratives, right? So this is how we apply these ideas into selling products or services. Now, let's stretch this a little bit and let's go to fiction. What are we doing in fiction? In fiction, what do we do fundamentally? Now, the one basic thing which is common to both advertising and fiction writing or fiction filmmaking is what we call dramatic narrative. We're all the time in the space of creating drama. And that drama is in the form of storytelling. And that storytelling is a narrative, there's a narration, right? What is drama? How do we create drama? Drama is fundamentally creating a conflict. So there's a thesis and an antithesis. There's a Ram and a Ravan. We're right now in the middle of Dashera and Diwali, so that's probably the best example to give you right now. And we are constantly rewriting Ramayana or Mahabharata in this country, whether we like it or not. And this is not a Hindutva lecture, so don't get me wrong, right? But that is our ethos. Those are our epics. Those are the epics that we keep rewriting. So there's a black versus a white, or a white versus a black. So Ram is whiter than the whitest, Ravan is blacker than the blackest. And there's a conflict. What is the conflict? That Ram's wife Sita is kidnapped by Ravan. And Ram goes to fight Ravan, vanquishes him, kills him, brings Sita back. So the whole point is that there's a thesis versus antithesis, and the thesis has a journey. Every protagonist has a journey. Every story is a journey. The journey is from point A to point Z. Point A is establishing what the character is, understanding what the journey is, and point Z is culmination of the journey. Every time that an antithesis will come and stop that journey, will come in conflict with the thesis, is what is called a plot point, is what is called a dramatic high point. That's where drama happens. There's always a hero which is being stopped by a villain. A villain and hero don't necessarily always have to be human. They don't necessarily always have to be gods. It can be environment. It can be robotic. It can be mechanical. It can be just about anything. But there is one person or set of persons, whatever may be the gender, who are on a journey to reach a culmination eventually. Every time that that journey is stopped or it is interrupted is where the drama happens. Right? Eventually, in a fiction story, there's a culmination. There's a culmination in advertising also. The only difference being, in the fiction story, the hero or the heroine has reached the culmination of their journey and they've achieved what they set out to achieve. There was this film called Lakshya many, many years ago, Hrithik Roshan's film. I don't know if you saw it. But Lakshya is what dramatic narrative is all about. The hero or the heroine has to attain their Lakshya. They have to reach their goal, whatever may be the goal. It may end as a tragedy, it may end as a comedy, it may end as happily ever after, it may end as an open-ended story. That doesn't matter. But still, there has to be a culmination of the journey. The journey has to end somewhere. Right? We can leave it to interpretation. A lot of horror films are left to interpretation. You finally find that those horror eyes which were there in somebody who's been vanquished are again seen in a child. And the saga continues. So there's scope for a sequel, maybe. Right? Or a prequel. Whatever. These days, everything is seeking sequels and prequels, right? The more the merrier. So you try and come to the end of a story. You try and culminate the story. But does the story necessarily culminate is really up to the type of narrative or the type of story or the type of application in which genre you're working in determines for you. Right? Okay, with me so far? All right. Can we see the second clip? Now, this is a film I had made for a corporate client. And this is more of a promotional film. But this is in the discipline of a fiction film. I'll just show you the first 1 minute and 12 seconds. Now, as you clearly saw that here also there is a dramatic narrative. Let's forget the environmental protection slide that comes in the middle, right? Let's forget that. Let's just look at this as a holistic story. It's simply this, that there are children playing on the beach, and as children playing on the beach, they make a castle and they want to play with the castle, and then suddenly a high tide comes in and the high tide threatens the castle. It may get washed away since it's made of sand. And the kids stand in front of the castle and try and protect it from the high tide. Yet the water does dissolve the castle to a certain extent. So they go and while the mothers watch, they go and get more mud and they rebuild the whole thing. And they make sure that the castle remains for them to play with it till they are at the beach. So again, there's a thesis, the thesis being the kids, the castle being their creation. And there's an antithesis, which is the sea, which wants to destroy the creation. And now they protect the creation. And eventually, they play on happily ever after, right? So these kids' journey was to go to the beach, create a castle, play with the castle, and the culmination is that they continue to play with it despite the snag and the hitch that comes in because of the sea coming into the beach, right? So if you look at the structures of both the films I've shown you, they're very similar in the way they go. They all have the same problems, that there's a protagonist, there's a conflict that the protagonist has to overcome or circumvent, and eventually what the protagonist does to move ahead and to create a better environment or a better life or a better way forward in culminating the journey so that the problem that he or she faced is no longer going to bother them. So this is basically where we are at, and we're trying to create that is the reason why I combined both these disciplines to create this course for you guys, to make sure that we can simultaneously learn two disciplines, applications of both the disciplines, and we end up making some interesting work, doing some good films, to make some good scripts together. The work will all be yours. I will only be guiding you. I am not going to hold your hand and write it for you, or I'm not going to hold the camera and shoot it for you. So the idea primarily, like I said, is to demystify this whole process. Of course, like Aruna ma'am said, everything is available on the net, right? You can just go to YouTube and view all the videos all about filmmaking and writing and advertising, and every discipline of filmmaking is available for you. But is it as simple as that? Don't you need to understand the processes from a more comprehensive perspective, from a demystifying perspective, to try and really get to the gut of it? And eventually, whether you want to become a filmmaker or not, you will definitely be enriched by the learning of the craft. That I can guarantee you. You will definitely have many skills that will be developed for you as we go along in those 3 months. We hope to start on the 18th of November. So as you already know, you should be signing up really soon, and we will take it from there. Now, before I open it up for any questions and answers and so on and so forth, I want to show you one last film. This is a film made a few years ago by students of mine. So this was an institutional film, and as most institutional films are concerned, there was really no budget for this. So most student films are made, by begging, borrowing, stealing, putting it together, trying to take favors from just about everybody, and somehow making something so that at least you made a film at the end of your course. So this is exactly what my students at EMDI had done a few years ago. But despite that, what I really want you to see is that they have tried to bring in a certain degree of finesse. They have tried to bring in a certain degree of professionalism, despite the near zero budget film that they made.
Scio Rider, a futuristic smartphone with features like drag and drop, ScanR, M-Drive, and more. Scio, future is now.
As you saw in this film, the idea is that there's this very aspirational phone that this woman wants, but that phone is yet to come into the present. It's in the future. So she kind of crosses over dimensions and goes into the future and steals the phone and brings it back to the present. So that was basically the idea behind what we tried to do. So the reason I showed you this film is that the idea is more important. The execution comes later. So don't be driven by form, be driven by content. The form will come together. Make sure that your content is strong. Make sure your content holds. Make sure your story holds. Your story must hold. Your story has to have that fundamental cohesion and synergy of beginning, middle, and end. Whether you look at it from the middle or from the end or from the beginning, it has to backward integrate. There has to be an inverted pyramid. If you can backward integrate your story, then you've got a great story. Then you can pick it up from anywhere. So you can go linear, you can go non-linear, you can go just about any which way, and you can create a really good story. So these are the kind of things that we will be trying to do together. Now I'm open to questions of any kind, any doubts, anything. I believe there are many of you out there listening to me right now. So it'd be lovely if anybody has any questions. Please.
Hello, sir. As a beginner, how can we start? As we know that filmmaking is an expensive passion. So we need a lot of actors, technologies, equipments, gadgets, and all that. So as a beginner, I just have a DSLR camera, nothing else, or a mobile camera. So how can I start with that?
That's
Do I have to purchase everything?
No, you don't have to. That's a great start. If you have a DSLR, half your battle is won. Right? You can use your friends, you can use your own home or your friend's home. Don't pay anybody anything. Put them together, write a great script and shoot them. And that's the end of that. And you can start there, right there. You don't need anything else. You know, the primary problem these days is the camera. People keep saying, I don't have a camera, sir. I say use your mobile phones. The last course I did, I made my students make films with a mobile phone. And they did a damn good job. It's not that you can't do it. You just need to learn how to use the lensing and how to use the imaging. Use a selfie stick so that you're steady, your hand is always steady. Don't hold it in your hands. And remember always that every mobile phone comes with a preset wide-angle lens in it. So you need to learn how to use the zoom in it so you can get your imaging right. But if you have a DSLR, I think half your battle is won, Jayant Vaghela.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Yes, Jayant. So, and you can easily make a film with your own friends. I'm sure you have a lot of friends. I'm sure you have a house. I'm sure your friends will have your friends. So you can see what can be which setting, which location. Write the script in accordance with your resources. Think what is possible and what is plausible for you. And then fit it in and then work backwards. Okay, this is the place I can use, this is a person I can use, this is an actor I can use, and make it completely zero budget. Don't pay anybody anything. Right?
Yes.
As we're doing together, and tomorrow maybe we may be rich and famous. Not even one day. Right? So that's the best way to start. Learn to use whatever resources you have and make the most of it.
Okay.
Right? Don't worry about what you see on the big screen. Let's not worry about the Salman Khans of the world. Yeah? They don't come into the picture. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome.
Sir, I have one query. Is the course going to be conducted in English, or is it going to be, a combination of English and Hindi?
Always a combination of English and Hindi. And whichever language you don't understand in, I will translate it in the other language.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No problem.
So, do we have a courseware or like subjects we are covering or topics we are covering? Like in first 4 weeks, this will be covered. Next 4 weeks will be covered. Kind of something. Can we get that gist?
Yes, we can. If you really want it, then definitely you will have it. We are going to be following the schedule of topics and subjects over the 3 months. So we can easily give you the primary topics and the breakup of the topics.
Yeah, yes. I would be interested in doing that. Thank you.
Surely. You sign up and you'll get it.
And how we are going to pull off this, direction ad film making, which is it's not online, basically. I took a part in a script writing workshop conducted by NFDC. That it goes by that, you don't have to, script writing is, you don't go outside, and you need a table or, your laptop, and that's done. And even to discuss about it and to teach or understand, the same setup online is fine. But filmmaking is, I don't think it is indoor job unless it is indoors. So I'm curious, how it is going to, how we are going to manage.
Why don't you respond to that?
Pardon?
No, Aruna, why
Yes,
don't you
so,
respond to that?
yeah, sure. Actually, what we are actually in this course, you will learn how to come to the stage when you're ready to shoot. Because everybody thinks shooting is making the film. Shooting is not making the film. There's a huge amount of work before that, which is called pre-production. And there's something called budgeting, there's something called pre-production, there's finding the locations, finding the equipment, finding the right personnel, and then making a team. And by the time you get most of the work has to be done, the entire thing has to be ready on paper before you go and shoot. Because when you shoot, you may shoot for, if it's an ad film, you may shoot for 1 day, you may shoot for a whole week. You may shoot for 10 days, depending on what the kind of ad film is. A fiction, you may shoot again 3-4 days. A feature film, you may shoot for 45 days, 50 days, 60 days. Some people also shoot for 180 days and so on. So, but the planning is really the most important. So you will come to the stage of making the film, and that's where we are going to leave you at when you're really ready to go and shoot. And if COVID opens up, maybe the very next will be the advanced. We'd love to have that. then we can take this further forward. Those people who are interested in continuing and create a module so that you can actually go and shoot the film. So this is the plan.
Wonderful. Thanks, Aruna. And if I may add to that, what we're going to try and do is try and make all of you work in groups where we will write a script, storyboard it, and we will distribute the sequences over groups. So each person is doing one part of that sequence. And there'll be one person who will, or two people who will combine them, assemble them, and edit them. And there'll be one or two people who will be looking at the editorial and the directorial content. So we can at least make 1 or 2 minute exercises to make you understand the fundamentals in application while not making the larger film, but we will definitely make shorter films in this way, where we will work together in such a way that there will be certain hands-on experience for you. Of course, unfortunately, it will be all in isolation and it will be all sharing files with each other, but keeping the script and the storyboard in mind so that the editorial remains the same, the content remains the same, it doesn't go awry. And of course, I'll be there to guide you and help you with that. But we will definitely do that. So you will do some filmmaking, but like I said, in isolation. It will not be physically together unless there are 2 or 3 people coming from the same space. Then it's much easier. Then you can definitely. Anyone else? Any other questions?
Good afternoon, sir. I had 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
The first being, when we study, when we study ads, we have to study the previous campaigns as well, which have been coming through all these years. So how much of the course is going to be studying the theoretical aspect of how the campaigns have worked back then, and how do we, change it now? Because we have to also make films now. So how much of the ratio is that going to be? And my second question to you is, film industry, I mean, even for short films and ad films, they work very differently, because I believe when we are making an ad film, we are making it for a product or a service, or for an ad agency for that matter. So will we also be taught how to work with the creative directors and the art directors of the film? Because I believe that's more of a collaborative project. So how will that be taught? Sir, I wanted to ask.
Right. Good questions. The entire theoretical aspect would be about 20% of the course. The rest will be you learning the applications. But it's not necessary that all the theory will end in the beginning and then after that it's only going to be application. It's a combination of both of them. And these will go on throughout till we reach the end of the course. So yes, about 20 to 25% is theory, and then it is what you do with it. It is your application of that theory, and I'm giving you exercises to make sure that you understand what the theory was to be able to do it. So definitely, when it comes to advertising, you will definitely study. There will be case studies. There will be understanding of campaigns. There will be a certain historical understanding of advertising in India and what it's come to. Because not everybody will have the kind of knowledge you seem to have. There will be many people who are completely newcomers or beginners as far as advertising is concerned. So I will have to take the lowest common denominator and start from the fundamental and then build it up. So yes, there will be all these aspects will be there. Secondly, as the question you asked me is, yes, I will definitely take you through how a agency works or how a creative team works. But the difference here would be that you would be playing all those roles amongst yourself. One of you will be the creative person, one of you will be the servicing person, one of you may be the media person, one of you may be the traffic, and so on and so forth. Right? So we will do these exercises to make it more comprehensive amongst all of you. So yes, there's a lot of group activity I foresee. At least if we can't necessarily do it physically together, we can either do it online or we can do it through emails. I mean, emails are a great way of communicating with each other. And it's always available, it's always open. So we create exercises where we are in communication with each other as far as the writing is concerned. The rest of the applications, as we go along on an as-is-where-is basis, will be taken care of. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, sir, you did. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
My question is regarding short film.
Sure.
So once you have like somehow created your short film, that you have written a script and you have shot it, like made it through. So what are the next steps after that? Like, what do you do?
Well, you need to screen your films to an audience. So you can start with either a film festival audience, or you can start with, there are many platforms these days which are screening short films, which are also monetizing short films. So it is not like it used to be a few years ago. Today you can make some money from short films. There's a lot of demand for online content, much more than it was earlier. Probably COVID has helped a lot in bringing just about everybody to the online space. So you need content to feed this monster which is online and which is like ever growing, ever burgeoning. So there's a lot of demand for online content. You can send it to festivals, like I said, you can screen it. There are many film clubs which screen short films. There are also some TV channels which screen short films. I don't know how much money they give, but I think they do give some money to screen short films. And there are film festivals. And the other thing which a lot of people do is they use their short films as their showreel. So then if you have a wish list of the kind of directors or the kind of production houses you want to work with, and if you think your film is up to the mark and it's a good film, which I'm sure it is, then you can always send it to these people or take it to them and say, look, sir, I've made this film, so I understand the fundamentals of filmmaking and may I work with you? So it can also be a calling card for future employment. So there are many ways where you can use your short film to further your filmmaking aspirations.
Great. So
Yeah.
basically, since it also helps you for your other projects that you move forward with. So is there a way to reach out to other people, or does it happen through networking only?
Always through networking, my friend. We are all doing it all the time, even now. That's the only way to go ahead.
Yeah.
All the way of doing it. It's always through network. You have to put yourself out there. You have to give cold calls to people. You have to be prepared to face failure and rejection. But eventually you'll make it. So hang in there and keep doing your work. You'll make it. Don't worry. Don't give up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sorry, maybe it's a hypothetical question. But for this lockdown, how you would have planned for this course? The same way you would have gone ahead online, or you would have organized in some particular city like Mumbai or Goa or things like that? And just
right. Okay. That's a very valid question. It's a good question. And I had already planned this before this COVID happened for another course which I was doing, where I was taking it to the script level online. Up to the level of writing the script, we were online, and then we would do the short breakdown and the scheduling and the budgeting, and post that we would go into production offline. That's how we would have structured it even here if there was no COVID. Ideally, that's what we'd have done. We'd have done it up to the script level and up to the planning stage online, and post this we'd have gone offline, which is what we are proposing to do if COVID goes away and if we are all back to normal. Then the next level of workshop will be actual hands-on production. Inshallah, we will do it someday soon. I hope we can look forward to that.
Sir, I had a question. What is short division?
What is short division? Okay. When we write a script, we normally write it in scenes. Every scene is a play out between a couple of characters, and there is always one primary issue or one primary aspect of the drama which is exposed or which is milked. We make a film, when we write a film, when we write any piece of narrative, we normally break it up into scenes. And every scene is one part of the dramatic narrative, which is between a couple of characters, right? Every scene or sequence is broken up into shots. Those shots are broken up as per the emphasis of the image size, which is directed by the drama in the narrative. So usually what do we see? If it's a very dramatic dialogue being spoken by an actor, we usually go into close-ups and mid-close-ups to give emphasis to what is being said, right? To be able to see the expressions clearly on the face of the actor. Or if it's an action sequence, then you may see it in a mid-long shot. For instance, if somebody is coming to kick or attack the other person, and then you again cut to a close-up, which is the impact of that attack on the other person. So again, action-reaction. It's always action-reaction. So a short breakdown is breaking up the scene into different shots, which take the narrative forward, which substantiate the narrative visually.
Yes, sir. I recently shot a Mizo scene, and I was just confused that how will I make that short division? How will I mention that short division? Either it is a part of a scripting or it is a part of a shooting. How do we
It,
plan this?
it is always part of the scripting first. It has to be on paper first before you start shooting.
We did
You have,
only one single shot or one single scene.
yes, sir, I understand what a mise-en-scene is, but you can easily break it up into many shots. So every dramatic moment in your mise-en-scene can be a single shot, right? Instead of taking one long trolley, usually what we do when we're students in mise-en-scene, we normally take a long trolley shot and we choreograph the entire movement around that, right? Or you're just moving from one point A to point B to point B and things are happening and unraveling themselves. In fact, there was this filmmaker from Netherlands, I forget his name. Aruna may remember, who used to make films like that. But the entire film, every reel was completely choreographed in no cuts. Nicolas Jansko,
Yes, but we also have the Hitchcock doing that
Hitchcock is
in
also
Rear
good.
Window, completely just that much, entire roll of stock, one shot, the entire thing played out. I just want to add something to what Mayank is saying. A mise-en-scène is, what is the meaning of mise-en-scène? Is everything that goes into a scene. That's the mise-en-scène. Where there's art direction, there's camera work, there's lighting, there's actor, there's costuming. That's what's called a mise-en-scène. Now, mise-en-scène can be expressed like in different shots, or it can be a one shot. So mise-en-scène doesn't mean one shot. It means a one take shot, one shot scene. That is one of the ways to put your mise-en-scène together. So actually, it can, when you do the mise-en-scène, what it means is having all the possible aspects that are actually on the stage. It's a French word which says put on stage, which is everything that goes into that scene. So it can be one single shot or it can be many shots.
Right.
Actually, we are taught like this only, that the scene is going on only one take only. That's the maison scene.
No, that's not you. Please go and look at some, go on Google or somewhere, because somebody has misguided you. I'm sorry to say, but mise-en-scène is not. One of the ways to shoot mise-en-scène is to make it in one take.
Yes.
It's only one shot,
True.
but it's not, all that in mise-en-scène is not necessarily only one single shot.
You're absolutely right, Aruna. Unfortunately, in many media schools and in many film schools, this is a misinterpretation which the students are meant to believe. That a
Yeah,
mise-en-scene
actually, I am a media student. That's why I am asking you.
Yes. So it is not it's not a single shot, but since you have shot it in a single shot, which is why I was answering your question, you can easily break it up into a succession of shots. If your shot has dialogues, for instance, and there's an action reaction between two characters or three characters, each dialogue can be a cut in itself, can be a shot in itself. Every movement can be a shot in itself. Every dramatic high point can be a shot in itself. So you need to break up your single shot as per narrative, not as per visual taking. That comes later. First, you break it up as per narrative. Do an audio video. See who's saying what place. Break up according to dialogue. Okay?
Yes.
Each dialogue a shot.
Yeah, we were taught there is a song Dolare Dolare, and there are too many maison scenes are there in that, and a song Chale Jaise Hawaye Sanan Sanan. That is also a one take maison scene.
No. Right. So please go on the net and check out what is the meaning of mise-en-scène. I took a look at some books, some really well-written textbooks. And that is why,
studied about that.
Yeah, but that is why this whole school, you see, why I told you in the beginning why we opened this school, Mayank, precisely for this reason. There's so many schools mushroomed all over. I don't know what they're teaching. It doesn't matter whatever they're teaching, as long as you become a good filmmaker and you learn how to make films. But mise-en-scène is simply different. Why would you call a shot a mise-en-scène? A shot is a shot and a mise-en-scène is mise-en-scène. So that's why. So it's all right. I mean, it's good because this is a place to learn. And the good thing is to actually discover, yes, I thought this, but now I can learn it in a different way. And so we are there for precisely this purpose. And Aditya is there and can take you through the,
But
I also wanted to know what is Foley.
Foley is sound that is added later as an effect to a scene. Where you create sound effects in the studio and you add them to a scene post shooting the scene. Sound effects normally are known as Foley sound. So you create.
Yeah, there are two terms I was taught. One was sound effects, and other was the Foley.
Right.
The sound effects were that like artificial sounds, like some we hear that chirping birds or like that, and the Foley are the some physical, like as you see in the movie, like somebody is punching, somebody is kicking other, so they are shouting like that,
Right.
something like this.
The fundamental difference is sound effects are usually pre-recorded sounds, which you get in various files, or in every studio will have a set of sound effects. You can even download sound effects from the net. Foley is a sound effect which is created live in a studio. It is not a pre-recorded sound. That's the fundamental difference. Right? Have I answered your
Yes,
question?
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Great, sir. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So while you're taking questions, Aditya sir, I'm just sharing a PPT also for the contacts and other details.
Please, sir.
Please. If anybody has any questions, please ask.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Can we have a hint of what all we are going to learn? Kind of, it's going to be completely, you'll go by the year, or what all this kind of syllabus that we are going to cover? Like, even we discussed something like short division now. Is it going to be there? And how deep are we going to discuss these elements? Something like that. Just a hint. Can we throw?
Well, you can read these few things for starters, which are there on your screen right now. That will give you some idea of what exactly we're going to be doing. But you will definitely be taught everything from scratch, understanding the discipline, understanding the application, applying it for yourself. Ideation, from ideation we'll go to script, from script we'll go to screen, to short breakdown, to master charting it, to doing a complete scheduling of it, a production design, and a budgeting. So you will be ready to make your film by the time you've completed this course, totally on paper. Everything will be ready. Your entire planning, including your soundtrack, should be in place. I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah, nice. Very well.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you, Aditya sir, for an absolutely amazing session. And everyone who's on the call right now, thank you so much. And we look forward to your participation. One of the thing, like Aruna ma'am shared with you, that, why we started the school. Also, we saw that this pandemic is really putting stress on everybody, whether it is jobs, whether it is, career, whether it is passion. And you got an opportunity right now. Maybe some of you are already working right now because after the pandemic, it is opened up. But I can really say there is a creative genius in everybody. That's why you're here on this call right now. You may be already doing it. If you're not doing it already, let that genius come out. This is your time to actually do that. It may be multiple career, or maybe you're passionate about making a film. Some of you are really passionate about making, short films or ad films. Jump in. So we have created this course, very, very special. This is a 3-month course, and you won't believe the feats. It's a steal. So I want you to really jump into the course, and we have only limited seats for the course because we want to really give the best to the students. Thank you so much. And we're here for a few more minutes if you have any questions. Otherwise, the evening is complete. And thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Are there any other questions? Anybody?
Earlier, it was scheduled to be on 9th, I think, and there was a schedule shared to all of us that, weekly couple of days it was planned, I think Wednesday and Monday. I don't remember exactly. So now that it is shifted to 18th, so you will follow the same pattern, or will it be weekly twice? And it was mentioned, I remember the 2 time slots were there. One is in the morning 11 to 1 and one in the evening. And I'm not sure whether I will be comfortable and I would be consistently available for, throughout this span of 3 months in the same time. Suppose I enroll myself suppose I choose one slot in the beginnings, like, morning session. Suppose I'm not able to make it, can I shift to the evening session for a month or so, or something like that? So is it, or how you planned?
Because
the question is wrong, because I'm not certain myself, we are long time we are talking about 3 months, how I'm going to be, where I'm going to be. Right now I'm in Hyderabad, whether I'll be, questions.
No, fair enough. I understand your anxiety. The answer to your first question was that yes, we were planning to start on the 9th. The reason we shifted to the 18th was because there's a Diwali holiday in the middle. So we did not want to start and immediately go into a break again. So we said, let Diwali get over, let Bhai Dooj get over, and post that we will once and for all start our classes uninterrupted. That was the reason why we pushed it by a few days. The second part of your question, these are not classes which are either ors, unfortunately. It's in one flow. So if you do miss a class, then you miss one session. Now, I don't know what we can do in such a situation to facilitate students. I don't think we've really given that much of a thought. But if these problems become kind of over a batch of people, then we would probably have to relook at this as an issue that may need to be addressed. How we will address them, we'll have to sit together and try and find some sort of solution for you. But having said that, sir, all you need is a computer and an internet connection. You can be anywhere in the country.
No, there was 2 slots mentioned. One is morning 11 to 1. Other one is, do you have to choose between the 2, or how is it?
They are different classes. They are not the same class being repeated from morning to evening.
So every day, twice we are going to attend the class. Is it like
Yes,
that?
sir. Yes.
So every day.
That's right. Can I add something here? See, online work is very different. It's very difficult to attend an online class more than 2 hours. People get tired. The whole way these classes are conducted, if you're going to do 4 hours instead of 8 hours of any teaching. So we do 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening. That's how these are conducted. That's one way. And it's not like an alternate slot. It is continuation. So if you miss something, you have already missed something. Now I feel like answering the question in a different way. May I?
Please.
May I?
Welcome.
May I? All right. When in life, there are so many things we just go ahead and do it without knowing how it's going to go. For example, when you get married, you don't know how the rest of the days are going to go. You only think of 3 months and you're getting worried. But when you marry, it's like for the life and you've thrown your hat over the wall. So, take it and it'll go the way it goes. If you have a commitment, it will last. You will be there. And if there's no commitment, it'll go. So
Absolutely.
It's another way of looking at life. So throw your hat over the wall and join. And every time when you come to it, cross the bridge when you come to it and take the support from all of us and make it work for yourself, because it's something you want to do.
Okay, good that I remember to ask this question, because I actually thought it was 2 different streams itself. Either you choose a morning stream, or if you are available only in the evening, suppose you're working and you can come back only in the evening part, then you'll have to choose that. That's what I was thinking. So now I know that, okay, I have to make myself available for 2 different slots in the single day, right?
That's right.
One couple of hours in the evening.
Yes.
Thanks.
And thank you for asking this question. Very important question, Srinivasan, because we always hesitate when we have to go for something. Thoda hesitation reh jata hai, but you have to take that chance. That's all. If I hadn't taken the chance I took, I wouldn't have been a filmmaker. The first girl in this whole industry as a technician, I wouldn't have been where I am. I had to take a chance. So that's why I'm saying this. You don't know how it is going to go, but you have a commitment to make it work. Bas.
The only thing is, if you really, the only advice I'd give everybody is try and start shooting with your mobile phones and start getting used to them. Because there'll be many, many exercises which will be commonly given to people on their mobile phones. I cannot expect everybody to have cameras. So, but you will definitely all have smartphones. And some exercises will certainly be on those phones to start with. So that's the only thing I can say at this stage.
On the specific 2 days, 2 different 2-hour slots we are giving for the class. And apart from this 4 hours that you spend on the class itself, will there be homeworks that?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah, because we should be prepared. But I quit my job a couple of months back, and after that, it is a spurry of online courses that I have been attending. thinking that they are mentioning, okay, 2 hours every day. And I plan and make myself available for that particular time. Only to realize later that, yeah, there is homework and you have to be prepared for few more hours. That if you're already occupied with something else, maybe you're working in a part-time and things like that, then I thought I should, be prepared.
There will be exercises and there will be homework, but everything you do will be certainly reviewed in class again. So it's not as if it's not like, like a regular school of where if you don't submit your homework, it's over and done with. No, it's not like that. You will most definitely get a second and a third chance to review it and to redo it. And we'll definitely give you more than enough time to do whatever is being asked of you. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, because it's 3 times a week. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
3 times a week. And apart from this 4 hours that we give it in the class, how much time that you'll have to allot for this? We should be. That is what.
If you can give at least an hour a day over and above this, is more than enough.
Okay.
That's more than enough.
So
Concentrate an hour a day. That's enough.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Thank you.
Most welcome. No, I think we're done. I don't think anybody has anything to say. So thank you and hope to see you in class really soon.
Yeah, and thank you everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. And you're free to always come back to us and ask questions and, really have the life that you want to have. Create what you want for yourself. And we are there standing for you. Just know that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in and participating. Thank you, Aditya sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Saji sir, for arranging this webinar for all of us. Good night. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Good night. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.